Well, welcome to the-analyser. We've got 9 races to preview at the Caulfield Heath track, and to run through the form for this meeting is Ben Ascari. He's been in great form of late. Ben, it's a meeting that on paper I think looks like it'll shoot pretty straight.
Hope so, Hutch. Yeah, I guess the big talking point is the conditions. So, track's on the improve, we're hearing. We're probably going to get soft ground. I think they said it's a good chance of opening up a 6. And then the big thing is strong northerly winds. Now, up to 45, 46 kilometres is probably the top. But regardless, when you get over 30, it has an impact on the racing. And we know at Caulfield or the Heath, when you got a northerly, generally means you want cover around that home turn. So what that means is nobody wants to lead. Or if they do, nobody wants to go quick. So I start to think very messy racing.
It could be messy racing, and they're strong winds, aren't they? I mean, when you're going over 40 Ks, it's a serious impact. So we'll have to be a little bit agile on the day, I suppose. But generally, the Heath track, I'm a big fan of it. I think certainly through the summer months played really well. I think it'll probably be okay as far as the surface is concerned. It's more the wind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think they moved the rail out 3 metres because it was intro, I think, probably off fence, but 3 metres, it should be fair. There's wear outside from trials. I think the inside 10 metres is probably the go, but wouldn't be surprised if they get off the fence a bit, but I think it'll brace really fairly.
Let's have a look at the market for the opening race at Caulfield Heath track. Stakes has been well back. Blinkers on, $4. $5 commit. Leopard Shark has had the benefit of a run at $6. $7 for Vallis, resuming off the back of a jump out that wasn't too bad. Rich on Bubbles, $8.50. $9.50 Brazen de Chambeau. I'm going to give this horse a bit of a chance to commit. Look, I think the race fitness is a big factor. It also got a long way back, Benny, as we take a look at this replay. It wasn't easy to make up ground at Sandown this day. Got just too far, basically, back out of its ground, and I thought closed off exceptionally well. Some solid sectionals. You're giving Commit much of a chance?
I am. I thought this was a really nice effort. Sat 3 wide, no cover at Sale, and one beating a subsequent winner. And, yeah, I think the market had a really big opinion of this winner, and I think he's going to be a nice horse, American Eagle, going forward. So this was a good performance. You think Commit's going to get the lovely run. Probably not in the first couple, but maybe just that next pair getting some cover, but a lot closer than last time out. So I can see why you like him.
Yep, 7 of 8 winners that day within a couple of lengths at the 600 at Sandown, so it wasn't easy to peg them back. Leopard Shark has also had a run, and probably needs to elevate a little bit on ratings, but the key plus is probably coming up in trip for this galloper.
I think big plus for Leopard Shark. Never been one of mine, Leopard Shark. I thought it was always just a horse, but surprised me how well Leopard Shark went first up. The winner of this, I think, is really smart, Riverina Lulu. We've seen El Montego, who was just checked and held up at a crucial stage. Maybe should have run third, came out and won last week at Flemington. And I don't think it's probably the strongest Saturday race, but regardless, a second here to Riverina Lulu, over 1,000. I think it was a little bit of a bonus performance for Leopard Shark. And like Commit, I think Leopard Shark's going to get that lovely run behind the speed, not too far away. And the big tick, as you said, 1,200 metres.
On the back of some pretty good work, what are we going to do with a horse by the name of Tough Romance, who has also had a little operation, the most important in many people's eyes as far as gear changes, but steady run heat, not a bad effort in this jump out, very slow pace, it's got to be said.
It does. I like the jump out. I thought it was very nice work. On the back of a gelding operation, that's why I can entertain this horse. It was off the map on debut last prep. It was just a win. Didn't really, it got the job done, went straight to the Blue Diamond, didn't measure up as a colt. Gelded this time in, very nice work. Given the market expectation in the first prep, now the jump out and the gelding operation, at double figures, I just want to have this horse on side. Not my main play in the race, but I'm going to have a couple of bets here. I'm going to back Leopard Shark at $6. I'm going to have $10 to win there, and then $5 on Tough Romance at the double figures. So you're going to get a similar result out of those two. I think Stakes and Commit are both leading chances in a pretty open race, but I do think Leopard Shark and Tough Romance are the ones that are a bit over the odds for me.
Fair call. I like Commit. I just think the race fitness at $5, I'm happy to play that way. Stakes will be hard to beat. We can settle closer. Leopard Shark, and I think Vallis is an interesting runner too. Didn't jump out too badly. Let's move on to the market for race number 2. No surprise whatsoever to see Celtics come at the $2.50 favourite on the back of a series of runner-ups. Botanical Boy is a genuine contender. In gate 2, $3.90. Stay Silent, last start winner at $6 with Zebra Finch, another last start winner at $6. OK, Benny, well, let's talk about Celtics. And for me, this is the horse to beat quite clearly. Doesn't really need to improve and probably gets its chance, I think, to notch that win on the weekend.
Yeah, I took a real set last week against the 3-year-olds from last season turning 4. when they tackle the older horses. And look, Cherish Me almost got there, but they all got beaten. There was 4 or 5 of them. I think this horse is well placed. He's hard to knock. When the favourite didn't turn up at his absolute best, I wasn't sure about that form. Look, it rated quite well.
Yeah.
I just got a few question marks as to how strong that race was. You know, Lauberhorn won 3 wide and was still good enough to win. Look, he's hard to knock. You can very easily make a case he should be favourite. I just don't necessarily want to bet at the price.
No, that's a fair call, I suppose, but he's going to start. I don't know if he'll be a lot better on the day. That's the only thing. And that 1,200 metre did match up pretty well, some good races on the same day as well. So that is worth bearing in mind. But there's a genuine case to be made for Botanical Boy. We talked about patterns and how it was hard to make ground. So fresh up, this was a really good run from a galloper that settled a long way back. Different setup on the weekend. Probably gets cover, but gate 1 might help. Yeah,
I think he can just settle a fair bit closer to the speed. Look, he's not going to be up in the speed battle, but I think he can be a bit closer. This was a good race, won by Carhoff, who's going well, who was hard fit, and it was wet ground. So not a great scenario for Botanical Boy to be first up. Touchdown went past him, but we know how much of a quality horse Touchdown is. I thought he hit the line quite nicely, fitter, firmer surface, weaker race. I'd have them much closer together in the market. I think sort of $3 each or 2 for me. I'd give them one's $2.50 and one's $4. The best part of them. Happy to back Botanical Boy. Celtics, look, he's hard to knock. Zebra Finch. I don't know what the opposition were doing in that 4-horse field last week. He's a suspect at a mile, but he's got to turn a foot. So let's let him lead at a slow speed. What was doing there? Stay Silent will be on speed. But, Botanical Boy for me. Yeah, I think Celtics is the one to beat. Botanical Boy, like you said, those 2 clear out from the rest of me. I thought Georgie Get Mad, second up, might be one to consider just for the minors, but be surprised if the top 2 in the market don't fight that one out. A lot of speed in the next race. Stacks of it. Small field, it's got to be said, but we've got a horse in great form at Cavalry Girl at the top of the market, 260. Bazaball rewarded. Back in trip for 24.60 for a horse resuming in Stokey. Then you've got 5.50 along the river, who's probably going better than ever. Interesting race, this one, isn't it, Benny? Because smaller field. I think she deserves to be favourite, Cavalry Girl. She's come back so well this prep, and this was once again a high-rating race where she led and dominated. I don't know if she needs to do that on the weekend, but she can. But she can also take a sit if they need to. Yeah, it's an interesting race because I saw so many leaders. Now, a couple of them have come out at the scratchings and going to elsewhere, going to Sydney. I don't know if she beat much, but she just seems to be getting better. Yeah. Through every preparation. Very good record at the Heath track as well. She's had 3 starts a win in a couple of seconds. Now that there's a little bit less speed and a northerly, so I was looking for horses off the pace initially, but I wonder now if that just let her roll. If they just sit there and they aren't keen. Nobody's keen to go hard, and it might end up being dominated by those on speed. So I found this a tricky race. Yeah, 53 kilos, Al Meach on board, so they'll be probably keen to do that. Horse that could also lead is Bazball Rewarded. This horse, I think, is really hard to knock. Just doesn't run a bad race. Can Club Bell improve second up as well? I think Club Bell can. If the race sets up one off the speed, because there's a lot of horses here naturally on pace runners, maybe it's one that can be strong late. I think Bazball Rewarded is much better suited in this race than it was in the Monash last time out. I think the big tick is just getting back to 1,000. I think it's a 1,000-metre horse that's been stretching out to 1,100 metres on class. Back to 1,000, a big tick, hard fit. And has shown, as she did when she won at Sandown earlier this prep, the ability to take a sit and then finish off. So I didn't have a strong opinion in this race. I've gone Bazaball Rewarded, just thinking it might be the one. Taking the sit and just going to, out of that win, be the strongest late. Look, Clabell maybe was the value if there was to be a blowout. Cavalry Girl and Stoker, but it was a very low confidence race to me. What about you? I think in terms of recent form, Cavalry Girl's the horse to beat, but outside that, Bazaball Rewarded, the main danger. Along the river I've got there. Like you said, there's been a couple of scratchings. It might just get down to who gets the right run on the day, but pretty competitive race all the same. That is 3 down for the Caulfield Heath meeting this weekend. On the other side, we'll come back with races 4, 5 and 6.
Hello and welcome back to The Analyser. We are up to race number 4 from the Caulfield Heath meeting this weekend. And let's have a look at the market. Davida is at $5 in an open race. Jenny Maltabella at $5, same quote, $5.50 for Street Lark. High Val, $6, $7.50 Lake Vostok, and double figures the rest. But we'll kick off with the horse co-favourite at the moment, Jenny Maltabella. Gee, this was some sort of a performance, I thought, last start. Look, probably in a better spot, Ben, but tell us what you thought of the win.
Yeah, it was a nice win, wasn't it? She's had an injury-interrupted career and been very sparingly raced, but has shown very good ability. Goes from what was a heavier track there last time out to a track that's a bit firmer on Saturday, but look, she's pretty hard to knock. My little reservation for her and the next horse we're going to talk about, the two that top the market, is they're not yet proven at 1,600, but the way she went there, it's hard to suggest she's not going to run out a strong 1,600.
And she'll be looking, you'd imagine, the way she raced there for that little bit of cover early, probably slides into that spot, whereas the next one that we're going to take a look at, I like, but the conditions are key. I mean, I wouldn't play yet, but Davida missed the kick the last two, got held up here, over-raced mid-race as well, and this was not a great watch for backers of Davida.
No, I only watched the side on. I was on her at double figures into, a much shorter price, and I watched the side on the day and that was bad enough. Here's the head on. Waiting, missed the start, gets in behind them, waiting, says enough, that gap's not going to open, goes to the right, that gap closes, the gap where she was, you could drive a bus through it. There's another gap back to the inside where Salazar, the winner, comes from behind her, who was on her back. Yeah,
you know what's interesting about that replay, actually, like you said, the side vision's one thing. It doesn't look as bad as the head on. When I watched the head on, I think she actually nearly wins the race, like if she gets a run.
Well, there were some Salazar backers on the day telling me, nah, you wouldn't have beaten me anyway. So I was like, yeah, we probably should have run a place. Watching the head on, she should have won that race. Yeah. The way she went to the line under double wraps, she was ahead of Salazar. She gets to the run first. I think she would have won. So my worry, I've got her on top because of what we just saw. Blake Shin goes on. She's missing the start. Blake gets on. He's just so good out of the gates. If he wants to go forward, he can. Into 1,600, it's a worry enough for me to not want to bet at $5. Any of my top 4 could win. I think this is a really tough race. Do you have any more conviction?
Don't mind the wide draw for her. If they're northerly strong and they're struggling into it, it's going to be tough for her. But I think she's ready to win. Jenny Maltabella's got a great chance. High Val was good off a strong speed the other day too. Smothered up. And Street Lark probably maps pretty nicely. Like, it's an even race. I don't know if there's enough edge there. Probably a race I'd wait till on the day, Ben, and have a look to see how things are playing out. We'll be playing in the next, though. Let's have a look at the market from the top now. Really interesting progressive type in High on the Hill, who's been pretty solid in the market at $4.60. There is some support for Next Step Iowa at $4.80. $6.50 Beautiful Bevy. We've got $7 for both Behaviour. Main Cash is $7.50. Got a couple of others in single-figured odds there, but this is another race that's relatively open, Ben, as well. A horse that I don't mind here is Beautiful Bevy. I'll just explain quickly why and then get your thoughts. Look, I don't mind this form. I think this is a strong enough sort of form reference. We've also got Afterburn, who makes a bit of ground, that good winter track form. Maps pretty nicely. Probably won't face the breeze, but will be settle handy in what could be a very fast run race with the likes of Main Man, Cash, etc. in it. So I didn't want to be on something too far back. And geez, the stable of flying. Peter Moody,
Aren't they flying?
12 runners this season. I know it's recent, but I mean, that's what we're dealing with. 12 runners, they've had 6 winners.
Yeah.
So the last 12, they've won 50% of the races. I think this horse is good enough. It's got to improve, but might be there.
Yep, I've got it in the numbers. I just was a bit concerned that those horses up right near the front of the speed. Now, whether it's probably not going to lead Main Cash, but they might just be vulnerable for something with some cover. Not too far away, as you said, but just in that next sort of pair.
One of those horses could be Behaviour as well.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect race. I can't work out why this horse is drifting, probably because of his winning strike rate and the fact that...
He was good here, though.
He can think about it a little bit. Yeah, he was good. I had something on him at sale over 1,000 earlier this prep, and I nearly binned him for life. I thought he was really plain, but maybe 1,000 these days is a bit sharp for him. This is a good scenario for him. Sit, sprint. I know that he was exposed and he's probably better with cover, but I think the slow tempo here suited him a bit better than it did the winner. Regardless, he ran well. Different scenario on Saturday. I think they'll go... Well, they may go quick. We say that. There's a northerly around. But regardless, there's a few speed horses. I think he'll tuck just in behind them. He'll be second or third pair. And he loves Caulfield. He's never been to the Heath, but he loves Caulfield, so the Heath should be okay. And I think $7 is really backable.
He's very backable at that price.
I've made him the value for Saturday. I'm going to back him. Look, any of the other... If he doesn't win, I don't think there's much between High on the Hill, Next Step Iowa, Beautiful Bevy. It's a really open race, but I'd probably have him a narrow favourite, so I think he's backable. What about you?
I think Beautiful Bevy's worth a win and place bet. I just think it gets the right run. It's in decent form. So, you know, once again, it's sort of been a little bit supported, but I think Behaviour's the other danger. I mean, that's another option. If you don't want to go each way, you could probably back the top two there. I want to take High on the Hill on only because just where it lands, I think a bit too far back. Nordic Strike's racing pretty well, but it might be facing the breeze. But competitive race, maybe sniping a little bit of overs in that race number 5. Well, we don't need to go too deep into race number 6 because this girl's going to be short. She's currently at $1.60 custom off the back of that impressive last start victory. And a lot of these others have been racing against each other. Bet Witchery $4.50, Stylish at $8.50. No money for the rest. So they're backing 2 horses at this point. Custom, Bet Witchery. Bet Witchery comes out of that Flemington race, but if Custom turns up in this sort of form, Ben, I don't think the others will really be able to compete with her.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Look, she's hard to tip against. I think she's a rightful favourite. The question is, what price does she deserve to be? And you know, Hutch, in this land that we're in now, where weight-adjusted ratings are playing such a huge role in the early prices, these horses, where they put down a rating at their previous start with more weight, that when the early markets adjust them for the lesser weight, but they go up in grade, they just go so short in early betting.
Yeah.
Like, this is a stronger race that she tackles on Saturday.
Yeah.
Look, she's still on the up. She is down in the weights. She's a nice horse. I think she might even be stakes.
Part of that race, though, like, she needed that win, didn't she?
She did.
Because she was sort of like, OK, it's time to turn up now.
Yeah, and that wasn't much of a field. Now you get $1.60. Look, I'm not against her because I'd say, oh, yeah, you can lay her because I do think she's under the odds, but I don't want to lay the horse that I think's probably going to win the race. You know, like, that just costs you money. So I'm just going to stay out. $1.60 I think's way too short. I'd need better than even money to even entertain her, but I still think she'll probably win. So.
Yeah, I couldn't mark her that short either. I think you'd want I think you want black figures, to be honest. But if she turns up, I can understand them backing her as well.
Yeah.
Stylish is going well. But Witchery's the interesting one. I thought they'd back others, not early markets, but they want to be with that horse second up. And Piastri, sort of that similar form line. So, interesting race, but can Custom do it? We'll have to find out. What price will she start? We've got 3 more to come on the other side of this break. Welcome back to the Analyser. Hopefully we've found a few winners by this stage. We're up to race number 7. Let's have a look at the market, and I can tell you it's a pretty competitive 7th event. Last start winner, Zorro's Flight, $4.40. Another last start winner, Perfect 10, $4.80. Araqua, unlucky the other day, $5, same price as another last start winner, Sensori. And then we get out to $6.50, Taka Speed. Gee, you can go down this page and make a bit of a case for a number of runners, Benny, but I know you like Sensori this day. It was a pretty tough sort of performance, and look, I'm giving Sensori a good chance to go out and win again. Different conditions, but certainly a horse that's just raising the bar. What I like about Sensori's efforts, you know, those figures are just improving with every run.
And since they've put the blinkers on, she's gone bang, bang, hasn't she? Like a different horse since the blinkers went on. And look, I do think she was advantaged by the wet track last time out, but it's not like she's going wet to synthetic or wet to
Dry.
good 3 at Flemington last week. There's going to be genuine give in the track.
She dug in there, didn't she?
Yeah, I do think it's a bit tougher against the older horse, although it's not the strongest race. I was just against her going... I thought a lot was in her favour there last time out, and now she's on a firmer surface, but this is a tricky race.
Araqua was unlucky last start. We'll have a look at a replay from...
Yep. We're going to go a couple back.
We're going to go a couple back, though, yeah. But went to Sydney and was very unlucky, and then this day... And this is what she can do. She can settle a bit handier.
Yeah, so she was great in Sydney last time out. This horse is absolutely flying. This was a couple of starts ago where it was advantage Araqua. She had a better run than Perfect 10. I thought Perfect 10 was probably a little unlucky not to beat her. Then you go back another start. Perfect 10 beat Araqua comfortably, but Araqua had genuine excuses. I struggled to split these two. I think maybe Perfect 10 should have beaten her this time with a better run. However, Araqua did hold her on the line and now gets a senior jockey, and I don't actually hate the wide draw for her on Saturday. I really struggle to split these. The way I would do it is, if you're backing the 10, you're probably going to have something on the 8 or 8 and 10. No bets for me. I didn't have a strong opinion. What about you?
The one opinion that I was strong was I didn't want to be with Zorro's Flight, even though I got it in for second. But I just felt that it was a bit short. It probably needed to elevate a little bit. I'm not sure what it beat the other day as well, but yeah, I felt like it was a little short. I mean, I thought a Rackle would be short. A Perfect 10 is obviously in great form, and I think Sensori's quite progressive. I don't know. Of that quartet that I've got in those numbers, I think that Zorro's Flight might be the one that sort of gets out a little bit more. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. But not playing anything anyway. But I will be playing in this race. This is the best of the day for me. First chorus, Benny, $2.70. I think that's a fair price. Let's Deal's resuming. Quality galloper, but is first up. Glory Days at $9. We get double figures the rest. So let's have a look at first chorus, who's drawn in gate 6 as well. And well, she justified a short quote last start, and it was a positive ride, but she was dominant.
I had something on Magnusman each way this day, just thinking he on speed could roll along, give you a side at double figures, and she was just way too good for him. I think he can maybe bridge the margin up to 1,800. Like, she's still got to tick that box. Like, I know she won at 1,700, she fell in. I'd hope that they ride her a bit more conservatively on Saturday, because you've got Banker's Choice, you've got Magnusman, a couple of genuine leaders. She can maybe get the 1-1, maybe one pair further back. Stays down in the weights, given the track's a big tick for her. She's absolutely flying, and she really put Magnusman away. The other thing is, I want her to take a sit, just A, to run out a strong 1,800, B, just to be out of that wind. Let Magnusman and Banker's Choice do the work into the wind and be really strong late. So, yeah, when Boniface, however we're saying that, came out, you got the percentage came down. You got a even better price. I saw yesterday on Ladbrokes last night. I went out to 310. She's back into 270 now, but I think that price is backable.
I think it's fair. Yeah, I do. I think I've got her shorter than that. So I mean, she's beaten some of these already, and she's fit. She's going well. So I thought she'd be pretty tough to beat first chorus. So hopefully that'll be the case. Let's Deal. Let's have a look at one of the dangers. I mean, there is some market support around for this horse, which is really interesting, because I just think, like, this is a long way off where they want to have the grand final. So, I mean, it'd be some effort to come in first up and win against hard-fit horses that have been campaigning in the winter and winning well. And
gate 1 as well. Like, so she's not the type... I don't think they're going to ride it aggressively. So it's probably going to be 3 or 4 pairs back on the inside. Quiet trial here. There just can't be any intent, can there? I'm quite surprised Litz Deals as short. Exactly. Sub $5 as close to first chorus as it is. Look, it's probably a better horse than first chorus. We're at second or third up at 1,800. You could almost back it. Yeah. But first up, no thanks. Yeah, first chorus a bet for me. So on a tough day where I didn't really have a standout, I've made her the best on the program ahead of Magnusman, who I think can bridge the margin, but working into the northerly yet. She had a fair margin on him last time out. Let's Deal, glorious days. But just looks a pretty winnable race for first chorus. Yep. If they take the sit, I don't want them bursting forward. Like they tried that at Flemington on good ground 3 or 4 starts ago, and she blew up. I just think keep riding her with a little bit of cover, and she can hopefully outsprint them. I'm with you. Might be a Quinella to have too, Magnus, but I just think they'll be very conservative. Let's Deal. It'll be one of those that's hit the line more. I think the race falls away. I wouldn't be surprised if first and second selections get a little bit shorter in the market as well. All right, let's move on to the last race now. Have a look at the market. Another horse that's been pretty well backed, and I'm no surprise to me. Changing Colours. They went up $2.50 into $1.95. This is another one that could stay short too. That said, there's some depth to this race. Flying Valley is flying $5. It's gone from 4 to 5, $9.50 LOU. Lovely Cut is a horse that would like a little bit of juice in the track, $9.50. Hill Rip's pretty big at $11 too. Black Storm, another on pacer at 19, has been a big drifter. But let's have a look at Changing Colours. This is the starting point. Really well backed and really impressive this day. I took $6 last start, Hutch. And I know she started sub 5, around that 460, 440 mark even, because she was well supported. But it's hard to get my head around. Like, I know that she ran a big rating. It was a brilliant performance to watch visually as well. So there's so many pluses. And she's produced a new peak for the new stable. You're not going to get 6 again, Benny. Just, use some of the profits and have another crack. I can't take odds on, Hutch. I can't take odds on after getting $6 beating a pretty ordinary group of mares, let's be honest. They're barely Saturday class, the field she demolished there. I know she's run a new peak, and she might be set up to go to an even better level, because Shin goes on, I think, dropping back to 1,500. Gets a good run too. Even better for a great map. She's top pick, but yeah, up in grade. The price is putting you off. Yeah, it's putting me off. Is there something in the rate? Flying Valley, would this horse interest you at all? Yep, he would. He's my second pick, and he's the one that I think is probably over the odds. So he's joined the Mars stable this preparation. He had some decent form for the previous stable. Great win first up at a distance short of his best. Then on a day you couldn't really make any ground in the Mildura Cup. He sliced through along the inside, got out across heels, was really strong late. Winner was Run Hurry Run, who went to Sydney, won last week for Lindsay Park. Third up, looks set to peak. He's drawn to maybe get the back of Changing Colours, or maybe she'll have his back. I think he's the one that's a touch over the odds, but look, I think Changing Colours is pretty good. I suspect she's more likely to beat him. I just think there's too much of a discrepancy between those two. No bets for me, but you sound like you got a bit more confidence.
Yeah, no, I'm keen on it. I mean, I'm not so keen on the price. Like you said, it's probably been, it's gone now. I think Heel Rip can run a race, $11.
Yep.
Flying Valley I like. LOU, if there's a little bit of cushion in the track, is another one that could certainly run a place. All right, we've gone through every race, Ben. Now get your phones out. You're not playing many races either. I'm a bit the same. This is your strategy?
Well, we did last week, Hutch, all guns blazing, $130 spend.
Knocked a lot off?
A little result back, but we lost on the day. I'm not as confident this week. Leopard Shark, Tough Romance, I think over the odds in the first. Botanical Boy, I'm going to have something on in race 2 to beat the favourite. The Behaviour's good odds in race 5 at $7. And First Chorus, my best, we'll have something there. $60 spend. How are you playing it, Hutch?
Yeah, pretty similar. I want to get something early with Commit. I think $10 the win. It's around that $5 mark. I think that's fair enough. Celtics, well, it's now or never, that's for sure. Runner-up last couple, hopefully can get a win. Little bet each way, or like I said, the other alternative is back the top 2 selections, the win and First Chorus. I'm with you. So let's hope that she can continue her merry way. As we say, thanks very much to Mr. Ascari.
Good to have you filling in today, Hutch.
Go the D's on the weekend.
Yes, give them strength.
Hope you enjoyed it. Good luck.